Hi, I'm Jill from Circle Y, and you guys have a lot of questions on saddle fitting. I've got some answers, and let's get into it together. So let's get into some specifics. So when you measure the gullet, as you saw in our other videos, we measure on a bare tree from here to here. When you have the saddle all completed, you have all these layers, so it makes it really hard. And I know that's really hard for you guys to understand, but let me show you a little demonstration that I show when I'm doing saddle fits. If my palms are the bars, which you saw on the tree, this is the bar, and my fingertips are the width of the gullet, this is still a 7-inch gullet, and this is still a 7-inch gullet. What's important is the bar angle, and also you have the flare. So if you look at this tree, it flares out in the front. So the front of the bars flare away from the horse. More flare is good on some horses, less flare is better on others. So what I thought would be helpful is if I show you how to fit a saddle on a horse. Now, Blackie here has a stellar conformation, so don't judge him. But there's no flies in here and it's nice and cool. So what I do when I do a saddle fitting is I always saddle fit without a saddle pad, because that's going to show you everything you need to know. And from there, then you pick what saddle pad fits your purpose. So we set the saddle where it's going to ride on the horse. And then I always step back and I first look at rigging position. Is it in the right spot behind the leg? Where everything's going to sit. Is the saddle fitting level? Is it tipping forward? Is it raised up in the front? If it's tipping forward, it's too wide for this horse's shoulders and his conformation. If it's rising up, it's too narrow. So if you look at this saddle, it's sitting very level on the horse's back. It's not like a guy wearing a little kid's hat, and it's not like a little kid wearing the dad's hat. It's sitting down on both sides, it's level, it looks balanced, and it looks comfortable for the horse. So from there, I slide my hand up under here, and what I'm looking for, the bars run from this concho down to this concho. And that's the frame of the saddle that the saddle's built on. That's the base of the whole saddle. So what you're looking for is even pressure all the way through the horse's back. You don't want it snug here and no space in a space here where you can put your hand up under there. You want contact, as much contact as you're going for. Now, one thing I'm going to let you all know is there's no standard in the tree industry. So, for example, if you want a set of tires, you can go buy tires from any dealership, and a 235 85/15 is going to fit the same. It may have a different tread pattern, but it's going to fit the same. You don't have to worry about fit and all of that. In the tree industry and saddle industry, there is no standard, because everybody has a little different flare, a little different bar angle, a little different gullet width. So what you're looking for is the closest fit for your horse, the most contact. You don't want pressure points like right here or right here. You don't want any gaps in here underneath. So what I look for, I slide my hand up under here, and I've got pressure here, but it's not bad pressure, it's solid pressure. Now this horse, like I said, doesn't have the best conformation. Then I come up under here and go all the way up to where the bars are and feel, and run your hand all the way down and go back here. This saddle on this horse's back is making really good contact. For me, it is a little bit tight under this screw, but I would feel comfortable riding, if this was a real horse, with a really good wool saddle pad underneath this. If this was too tight and my hand could go under here and wiggle around, I would consider this bridging, which means it's not making contact. So you're gonna have sore spots here and sore spots here. So you want to fill that gap in somehow, and it could be a good pad, it could be, you may have to shim, you may have to look at a different saddle with a different bar angle in it to fit this horse. A lot of people get worried about dry spots too, and that is a concern, and you need to pay attention to it. What I do when I see a dry spot is I will feel around the area first of all and see, is the horse sore around the dry spot or in the dry spot? The dry spot could be caused from many things. But I think about saddle fitting like my shoes. So I'm standing on both feet really level right now, and I have dry spots in my feet, but my feet do not hurt. So, you know, we put tunnel skirts in these saddles now so the air can get down in there. That could be why you have some dry spots. It could be from an old injury that it's got a dry spot. So don't always immediately run to the saddle doesn't fit. Now it's a good concern, you need to make sure, because you don't want to create the white hairs and the dry spots. But if you're standing in your shoes and you feel it, my foot is making full contact in the shoe, but my arch is not touching, and so it's technically a dry spot, but my feet do not hurt. Now ladies, you all wear high heels, and so you know when you're on high heels, you're standing on the balls of your feet, so your toes and the balls of your feet get really tired because they're taking the brunt. That's what happens when you have a bridging. You have too much back here that's not touching, it's all on the point, the ball of your foot. So that's where it becomes a big concern. But if you have pretty much contact all the way through, the pads, and it's maybe a little bit lighter through here, I wouldn't worry about that. The pad's gonna fill in that gap. So I say all of this to say this. If you're the rider and you're concerned about your horse's fit, you don't need to know, has it got a 95-degree bar, a 7-inch gullet, a 6 3/4, a 6 7/8, and all of that. You put it on your horse and you use this very simple method to feel up in there and make sure it's making contact. Step back and watch your horse. Don't use too thick of a pad. Use the right pad for the job. Step back and watch your horse trot around in a round pen or something and just watch how he moves. If he's moving comfortably, your horse isn't having issues or wringing his tail or the saddle's not bouncing in the back and all of that, then you should be good to go. I don't want you to overthink it and get all worried, because the bare tree to the saddle, there's a lot going on between here to base it on the bare tree to this. We get asked a lot for the measurements and we give it to you on the bare tree because that's what we have, because you can't technically really get an accurate reading when the saddle is completed. And honestly, if you guys still have questions, check out our website. We list all of our dealers that are across the whole United States that actually do saddle fittings, where you can bring your horse to the store. Some of them will come to you for a fee, and they are trusted by us and they do a really good job. You can also contact Circle Y and talk to us, and we will be happy to answer any of your questions. So go to circley.com and check out our website and look up those stores.